In this video, I will add a bridging table between students and teachers named mappings. And we will see after adding mappings table, a bridging table, we will see some changes in our entity model EDMX file, and we will also be needing to change the return type of this get method, as after adding bridging there will be navigational properties, and our model will have cannot be returned with navigational properties, so we have to return a mapped model. So let's just start and create a new bridging table called mappings. I will go simply here and create a table with column name mapping id, uh, student id, teacher id, let's just say subject, room, and record created date. This is date time field. Set this as primary key. Also set the identity specification to allow the auto increment. Press save and name the table as mappings. Click OK. Now we will add foreign key relationships. To do this, click here, relationships, click add, select the primary key table, that is students. This is the primary key in students table, and here it is student ID. Click OK. Add another relationship for our teachers table, teachers, teacher ID, and teacher ID. Click OK. Press close. Click Control S. Okay, now we go to our solution. Open entity model.edmx. So to first we added this entity model from an existing database. Now we are going to simply update. We are not going to add another entity model. We will update this one. To do this, right click here and select update model from database. Expand and you will see the newly created table is here. Click finish. Okay, now this mappings table is here. Press Ctrl S, and then we will see in the student and teacher table there will be an I collection of mappings, and in mappings auto generated class we will see an object of uh, student and teacher. uh, you can see these are the navigational properties. By sitting here on the student object, we can navigate to his mappings, and similarly for the teacher, and by sitting on the mapping object we can navigate to the mappings student and teacher object. So you can also see the relationships are also mentioned here. This is a one-to-many relationship. Similarly, from teacher to mapping, this is also one-to-many. But from mapping to student and mapping to teacher, this is a many-to-one and many-to-one relationship. So if we see here, the new class has been auto-generated, named mappings. And if we open the mappings.cs, we will see the virtual property student and teacher as navigational properties. And if we navigate to student class, we can see mappings, I collection of mappings as a navigational property. So let's just create another endpoint, REST endpoint, which will receive a student ID from the REST client, and it will it have to send uh, the student object as well as its mapping object. So we will be creating a new data structure which will create properties for student as well as his mappings. So let's just create another method for get. I will simply copy paste it and add int id. All right, I'm going to change the underlying logic here, and it will not send the student enumerable of student objects. Rather, it will send a custom model. To do this, I'm going to go and add a new class. I will say student mappings model, and it will have first name, last name, and a list of mappings. Right, we will also have to create a mappings model. For that, I will create another class, name it as mapping model. Uh, this mapping model will have everything except the navigational properties. So I'm going to go and copy all these and paste it here. So this student mapping model will have mapping model as a property named mappings. So this will be the return type of our student controller. I will simply paste it here. Now it will say that no reference is added, so I have to write using MVC gradebook.models, and you can see this is added here. This is all set now. So what I will do, I will find that student. Let's say db.students.find, and I will pass that simple ID. That is, we only use find when we want to find an entity by its primary key. So it will look for the ID, which is primary key of the students table. Uh, this will return us as var student object. So this will be a single object. Uh, now we have now we want to get the navigational, I mean the mappings against this particular student. So we simply write student dot, and you can see mappings as a navigational property. So we don't have to go to the mappings table, query the mappings table to get the mappings of this student. We simply get the student, and we automatically get its mappings in the navigational property, that is mappings. So here we have, I'll say for mappings list is equal to student dot mappings, and I will use to list. So now we want to return an object of student mappings model type. Rather, I have to simply return a single model rather than a list. So I will create result is equal to new student mapping model. Result dot first name is equal to student dot first name dot last name is equal to student dot last name. And now we have to map the mappings. So result dot mappings. To do this, I'm gonna go and iterate over this property. I will be using a for each loop for the time. Let's just make a minor change and create it as a list. So we use enumerable when we don't have to do the list operations. List operations include extra methods which are not available in enumerable. In enumerable, we are simply enumerating. That is, we are iterating. But now I have to add a few, use the add operation. So I am changing it to list. So I will result dot mappings dot add new mapping model, and the mapping model contains mapping id. I'll say item dot mapping id, student id, item dot student id, teacher id is equal to item dot teacher id, room is equal to item dot room, subject is equal to item dot subject, and the last one, record created date, is equal to item dot record created. So our model is set, all set here, and we will simply return this result object. Return result. Okay, let's just add some data in this table. This is our mappings table. Student ID 1, teacher ID 1, subject EAD, room 15, 2017 05. Thank you. 1, 2, 1, 1, 15, so I have added this mapping. Let's just add another teacher ID 2, SE, STA, I'm going to run this. So I go here in my REST client, and to get a student by ID, I will simply add a question mark. ID is equal to, let's just say 2, and let's make a debug point here and click send. Okay, it's here. We have specified ID 2, and we are getting that. Okay, this is the student object, and you can see it have a dynamic proxies. Okay, student name Usman, ID 2, and we have this navigational property. When you see navigational property, you can expand it. It have two mappings. Sorry, one mapping, and we can then expand that one mapping. Then that one mapping have then other navigational properties of the student object and teacher object. So we have, this is the eager loading is working here, and we have everything available related to this student object. So I get the mappings list here, then I create a model and I iterate. Okay, this is giving me an exception, object reference. Okay, that's because I haven't initialized the list. So let's just stop it and write result.mappings is equal to new list mappings model. Now this will work perfectly fine. Okay, it's here. Now it can add the mappings and it will return the result. So here we returned first name and the mappings. The mapping is a array and it have just one object. Uh, we can also add filters to the query. So I can simply write a where clause here. I can say student.mappings.where. We use lambda expression here. Just use any word x, y, z, anyone. So I use x equal to greater than x. Now we are exactly at after the x variable. We are, I mean, on a row of the mappings. So we can add a condition here where room is equal to 15. So this is a simple query. It will only send the mappings of the student where room is 15. So we sum up our bridging table and navigational properties. Uh, in the next video, I will show you how to create action methods, controllers to create, update, delete uh, a student, teacher, or mapping. Uh, or I will create a controller for products. You will be you can use take help from that controller. Uh, you are creating a shopping website. So first of all, you must be needing a schema for a shopping website. You will create a database, then you start your project. Uh, I will create a products controller. I will create a simple table, and you can use that products table. I will create models, views, and controller for the products to simply add, create, update, delete a product. So I will be uploading that video very soon. So till then, guys, please follow the first video, second video, third video, create your project, follow these steps, uh, create project as according to your database, create schema as according to your business requirement, your shopping website requirement, uh, and similarly update your entity model EDMX file as according to your database, and then start working on it. If you have any questions, queries, face any issues, don't hesitate, email me, reach out to me. You can also leave a comment below on this video. Uh, I will address those issues in my upcoming videos. So thank you for watching.